department will be a norm. I'm saying it right here. I've been saying it for years. A video department will be a norm.
What's up, everybody? It's Rahul from Custom Creatives, and I have a special guest I'm interviewing. His name is Billy Jean, the wolf of paid advertising. All right, well, anyways, I want to dive right into this and get to know this man because he's got so much knowledge and he's built a company.
And thank you for the kind words.
Yeah, of course, my pleasure.
Appreciate that.
So, I mean, this guy built a company, what, in 2014 is when you started?
What?
Well, you probably started much before that.
Yeah, there was like, I would say I've probably been at this for like 6 years in regards to like the agency stuff.
Right, okay.
And then had a failed mobile oil change company before that and some other weird shit that didn't work out. You know, the usual entrepreneur stuff.
Totally. Because I saw your email where it talked about your revenue targets and I was like, shit, this guy's done 21 millis in a short period of time and you're just growing. Because that's impressive right there.
It's weird to think about like that because when you're in it, you're just thinking step by step.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like you're not like, you just never fucking look at it like that until you have to force yourself to step back and have those moments of gratitude, or else you just, like all entrepreneurs, we have this problem and addiction where we're never thankful. We're just always fucking going.
Right.
But what's the next thing? What's the next thing? What's the next thing? What's the next thing? And it's poison. Right. That's unhealthy.
Before we get too deep into what we are now with Billy, is I want to get the background. Because the way I met you, I was actually signing up for somebody else, and then for a course, and somehow I saw your ad in my feed, and I'm like, dude, this guy is the guy. I like this. I like the style. And I didn't even get through the whole entire webinar, the 50K in debt one. Yeah. But that's how I met Billy. It was through
the internet. So it's been years.
Yeah, it's been through the internet, and I was like kind of holding my credit card back and just saying like, oh, I'll call him whenever I feel like it. But then finally I'm like, you know what, I need this.
Give me that card. Hold that shit back on me.
Well, the one thing that you got me is like, you SEO fucks out there, we are gonna come for your business. And yes, he did say that. I still remember that. And that's why I was like, you know what, I can't have someone gunning for me. I need that solution in-house. And that's why I signed up. And I'm like, man, this guy from 50 G's in debt from college all the way to 21 million in such a short period of time. That's pretty impressive. So let's get the journey. Like, let's go be like high school Billy. Like, or where did you grow up, by the way?
Born and raised in sunny San Diego, California.
Nice.
I'm a couple of things about me that people probably don't know if they've ever seen our ads before is I'm super homebody. Like I don't like to travel. That does not mean I'm an introvert. A lot of people are like, I'm just an introvert. Da, da, da. Like, no, I like being at home, motherfuckers. Like I love it. Like born and raised in San Diego. Haven't been out of the country very much at all. I don't like to leave much. I have the same friends that I've had since high school. Like a lot of them work here with me. Like I'm very like tight knit and like you know the same trust circle. My parents are 20 minutes away. I spend a lot of time with my daughter, and yeah, man. Like as of to date, like I'm pretty basic in that regards. Like I work, I come here and then there. But I guess the thing that's changed most is now our ads have been seen over 276 million times.
That's insane.
So it's really weird because then I'll have, when I go outside now, it's like I go to coffee shops, like this dude just walks up to me, he's like, hey, so what's up? He's like, I love your stuff. Let's take a picture. Let's work together. How can we do this? What's your email? What's your phone number? Like motherfuckers want full business plans in like a handshake. You know? So like that's been different. You know, that's weird. Like with me, I like to sit at home and play video games. So it's like it's just different, man. It's different.
I get emails from your team late at night on Saturdays. I get text messages. I'm like, how the hell does this guy teach his team to have that passion when they may not be even like getting paid off the clock, but they love what they do where it's always on. They want to be a part of it and contribute. How did you get that? Like, because you didn't start, like, did you start off like with like this natural like human connection?
No, so there's just a few things in there. Number one, leadership. Being a manager is a skill. You're not born with it. Just like in sales. Some people may be better communicators and like get along with people better, but a professional is practiced and seasoned. Don't get it twisted. No one's born to fucking lead. Leaders are created with practice, with skills, with coaching, with learning. So this shit right here is practice. I fucking, the leader that I was and I am today, night and day.
Right.
I didn't know. I just started hiring people because I just needed help like anyone else. But here's the one thing that I always gripped onto, and it sounds weird, but like it's in cliche, but let me break it down. It's treat others how you want to be treated. Now, at a glance, everybody says, no shit, Billy. It's big wow. But think about that. If you had to switch jobs with someone in your company, work the same hours, make the same amount of money that they make, would you still be there? Would you do the same thing as them? And
that's a good analogy. And think about it that way.
That's the
Switch
whole
seats.
coaching thing. So when I approach the company, it's everybody here. It's like, look, the last thing I'm ever going to do. Nobody in this company will ever be capped in regards to how much money you make. However, your skills may cap you. In other words, if you can only solve X, Y, and Z problems, you're going to get paid X, Y, and Z money. But if a motherfucker comes in and they can solve problems A, B, C, D, E, F, G, all the way to Z, they're going to make fucking 10 times as much money as you because they solve more problems than you. Now watch this. I will invest into your education. If you want to learn something, I invest into them all the time. So I'm just going to support that. But if you're not willing to do that, don't ask me for money. Don't ask, because I'm not going to give you anything. You've earned everything that you get. I'm not giving anybody anything. So I think it's clarity on where they fit.
Right.
Clarity on what's the future look like to them. And lastly, I don't build for me. I build for we.
Like you mentioned something about your pay is reflected on the problems you solve. So now for the smaller companies that let's say they're at 10 grand or 50 grand a month that are up and comers in this game and they're having trouble hiring and they're hearing like, well, how do I pay the person? Let's say they come in at 40K. How do you add what do you say to a $40,000 a year person where they can just get stacked bonuses or whatnot?
I love it. That's where the vision and clarity comes. So for example, like when my CMO Rena started working with me, we were at my parents' house. Now we were generating money at my mom's house in fairness, my dad's house in fairness. But what I told her is like, yo, all I can pay you right now is this. You're gonna get a cashier's check every other week on some bootleg stuff. I don't even know how the taxes work. But listen, look what we're in position to do. I said this whole social media stuff, I said everybody's gonna get on board with this and like everybody's sleeping on it. And I'm telling you, if we can fucking be there, we'll crush it. And like she was big and like traveling and stuff. I'm like, dude, just me and you do this, we'll just can crush it, we'll make money, we can do whatever the fuck we want. Like, look what I'm already doing at home, like come on over, and it was cool. So it sells. So you mentioned sales briefly, but like, yo, everyone, sales is everything. Sales is not just front facing from you to the customer. Sales is selling your employees. People say like, how do you get people to work for you if you don't have money? Fucking sell them. Sell them. People work for free all of the time if they believe in what you're doing and they have clarity on what's in it for them. So people will, internships, people fucking work for free.
Right, no,
but what are you bringing to the table? Sometimes you guys are starting companies and you genuinely don't have any skills and you're not bringing anything to the table and you're wondering why it's hard to bring somebody else on because you ain't offering shit. Treat others how you want to be treated. Would you take that job that you're offering? And if you have to like push yourself like, well, I would probably, shut the fuck up. No, you wouldn't. No, you wouldn't.
Let's say I'm hiring my first hire.
Yep.
And I'm saying, look, I need you to answer the phones when I can't answer them. I need you to respond to emails if I ask you to. Like, let's learn this Facebook thing if I need you to, or learn a new skill if I need you to. And where we're going is going to only go up. Look at my income now. Now, how do you now get that person where they may be quote unquote getting underpaid? They're believing in the passion, the skill set, and the direction to keep them around. Like
first is this.
Yeah.
Questions. Hey, Sally or Steve or whatever the hell it is. How much money do you want to be making in 2 years? Why? Where do you want to live? Why? Cool. When you do that, are you in a relationship? Cool. Is marriage something that's important to you? Great. What's your dream life look like? Cool. 3 years? Great. So right now, as a company, this is what we're making. There's X amount of room to pay you here for right now the current skills that you have. As you do this, this, and this, here's what I'd like to pay you, and here's where the company will be at. And then you'll make this so you can have all of those things. But I'm just breaking this down to you so I let you know, like, as I grow, you're also going to grow. You're not here to build my dream, we're here to build a dream together.
Right. So now
every time, you know what I mean? Like
with that togetherness in the startup phase, let's say, how do you?
So for now, to get there, you're gonna eat shit. You're gonna have to answer some phones. You're gonna have to do this. You're gonna have to do all these things that you can't stand temporarily. But you're also going to get, like how I've already closed these big deals. You're gonna see how it operates. You're gonna see how we use VAs. You're gonna learn more than any of your fucking friends and 10 times more than you did in your college. So regardless if you stay with me or you go into the next thing, hopefully you stay, you're gonna have fucking real ass skills.
Right.
And then if they say, oh, well, that doesn't really sound like for me, perfect. They just weeded themselves out. That wasn't the fit for you.
Right.
Right. So like that's
like
it.
that.
It's the honesty. It's like, here's the honesty. Here's this. Like, are you down to ride with it?
That's awesome.
Cool. Let's go.
Do you use VAs right now for
we
certain
use
tasks?
VAs. We have some VAs for like So when you look at your team, right, there's a cost associated with everybody's actions. And what I mean by that is you always want to have your A players spending their time on profit-producing activities. And what I mean by that is, like, take like Arena, my CMO. She has the ability to build campaigns from start to finish, drive traffic with well-written emails, things that can really fucking move the needle for our company. So if 3 hours of her day is taking stats, I am losing a stupid amount of money by putting her time on the stuff that I can hire out for $8 an hour to somebody else to do that. So it's all about winning back time so everybody can focus on the shit that actually drives an income.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so it's just being smart, right? But guess what? There also may be a time in your company where people have to do multiple things and stay up extra nights to do it and get it done.
Right.
And that's what most people aren't willing to do. A lot of people want to go into CEO mode too fast.
Sure.
And what you guys have to realize is that before you go into CEO, you have to have a lot of things in place. You need to have marketing. In other words, someone who's consistently focused on bringing in new opportunities. You need to have sales, someone who's focused on closing those opportunities. You need to have fulfillment. Once those opportunities are closed, somebody who's executing and giving the people what they actually need. Once you have those things, you need to have somebody who's overseeing the ship and counting the money and doing the paperwork and the logistics and all those things. And then there may be some technology that's involved. Once you have these things in place, now your job can become CEO. You have a position and a role just like anybody else in the company. But when you want to go to CEO and you don't have sales, marketing, support, fulfillment in space, what the fuck are you doing? What are you really doing with your time besides selling yourself on how important? What are you talking about? Stop listening to the fucking YouTube and the Instagram and the events and stuff of like, I'm the CEO, I should only be focused on high low. Like, the timing of when you receive your advice is extremely important. So for example, even myself, you may see me doing something in my business that you think you need to do, but we're in a different place than you are, so I would probably be doing something different if I was where you were at. So it's very important that people always have like 3 different types of mentors. One who's like 1 step ahead of you, 2 steps to kind of know what's happening right there. 2, one who's like shitting on your fucking life. And then the 3rd is you should have some peers around you that aren't doing as well so you can get perspective there, right? So you have the 3rds. When you have those things, you get a different perspective, you know?
Right. Did you ever want to quit along the way?
Yes.
During this? How close were you to throwing in the marbles and just saying, fuck it, this is over?
You know,
because I talked to you about that on Boxer.
Yeah. It was, I believe the quitting wasn't like quitting on entrepreneurship, right? Just like you. Yours thing wasn't like quitting on entrepreneurship and going to like get a job or something like that. It was more so you want to quit on your plan and your vision of what you thought you wanted to execute. And the challenge with that is that people often can easily get into shiny object syndrome, where it's like, I know I want to do the entrepreneurship, but like you did your plan, you did it for a year or 2, you didn't get the result that you wanted. So now instead of like an agency, you think e-com, or instead of e-com, you think of like a brick and mortar, opening up a yoga studio or something else, because what you realize is that, or what you're hoping is that somehow it's going to be easier.
Right.
But realistically, problems you're going to have in every single industry that you do, they're going to look different, but it's the same shit.
Right.
So if you can't get a great entrepreneur does 2 things. Number 1 is they solve problems consistently and well and with calm. And then the second thing that they do is they can always create cash, right? One of my mentors, Jim Bunch, talks to me about that. An entrepreneur always has the ability to create cash. So when you have problems, you just need to fucking own them and fucking run through those motherfucking things.
Right.
That's the key.
Let's segue into like the fun stuff, sales, getting money. This is like the trophy, right? This is what we all work for.
Yeah.
So give me some tips. Like what if somebody's out there trying to get their very first client, what do they do? Where do they go? Do they just go through the Rolodex and start hitting people up, family, friends, post on Facebook?
I'm a big fan of like when you're beginning, you need to you get grimy. You fucking
cold call,
you
everything.
Easiest way to money for everybody watching this today on almost every industry of any size of company is to pick up the fucking phone and call. Like right now, if you're sitting there like, I just can't make this thing work. Literally, just call people all day and ask them to buy your stuff and you'll make money. It's just math. Now, if you want to increase the time it takes to get the result, take a sales training course. Don't just fucking go out there, train, like get practice, like go into sales course and then just go sell. This is the fastest way, right? And then post on your organic social media, tell people what you're doing. That's the marketing side in the beginning, and just fucking ask. Guys, I banged the phones. I banged the phones like crazy. I went on the internet and I found postings of people who were looking for help, and I would fucking call them. I made videos, proposals to send to people.
Like you did that too, okay.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, it's just fucking just ask. You know what it is? It's ask. You want to make money? Is fucking ask. Look at your money right now and be like, how many people did you ask to buy this week? And if you're mad at the money you made this week, you just probably didn't ask enough people. Yeah, but I have all this to do. You don't have shit to do. You don't have shit to do. If you're just trying to get it and you're not making the money you want, the only job you have to do is fucking sell.
What are the must-haves? Like, let's move past the beginner that cold calls and hustles on the streets. Let's go to somebody who doesn't need to cold call. They're comfortable, but they want to accelerate. Let's say you got a database, you got past clients, you got prospects. So now you have, but you're reliant on referrals, and you still kind of cold call, but you don't. But now you want to systematize this shit.
This is where I probably spend a lot of time, because I see a lot of people struggle there. Healthy businesses, like you said, doing well. Dude, the idea between scaling, quote unquote, and growing quickly is very straightforward. And it's this: make sure you have some predictable lead generation sources out there. Consistent, predictable. So for us, it's Facebook, it's Instagram and YouTube. It's the paid advertising side. But sometimes also that can be a partnership. Maybe you have a great relationship with someone who has a similar customer to you that can be sending you referrals all day. So basically, if you had to draw a diagram, take out a blank piece of paper, put yourself in the middle, Billy, and then just do like little lines out to all the different places that you can consistently get customers. And when all of those things are working in sync is when you start fucking crushing it. When you're like spending some money on Facebook and you got customers there, Instagram, YouTube, email, text message, Steven from this company, Jane from this company, Blank from this company. Now your customers are sending referrals, da-da-da-da-da. That's the whole fucking game. The consistency with that stuff is the growth. That's it. That's it.
So like your business today, let's diagram this out. Like, so you mentioned all these channels. So do you have one person doing all of it, saying, okay, I got Billy's ad, I already filmed it, it's fully edited, I'm gonna upload it to Facebook, YouTube, the Gram, and then I'm gonna have an email automation sequence behind the landing page? Is this the team doing it, or is this an individual doing it?
Great question. So as you grow, you realize that all these things are full-time jobs. And when you're coming up, you got to just wear a bunch of different hats and do what you can. But as you get more cash flow, you recognize that, holy shit, just running the Facebook ads is a full-time job. Just running the Instagram. So, for example, the Billie Genius marketing brand, I have 3 people who spend full-time that just run ads for our particular company. Just for Billie Genius marketing. 3 people, really skilled, and myself that will be in there a lot too.
And that's like an all-day job they're running?
All day, 24/7. So where a lot of companies lose is they hear about the social media thing, don't know a lot about it, and they go, well, fuck, let me just get this like college intern to fucking put me on the social media thing so I'm doing it. I'm like, dude, that's so wrong. And realize they're advertising. That is different than actually creating and posting the content. So Karen, our social media manager, like actually posting shit, like and creating that's a whole different job. To create the content, I got a team of 3 to 5 people in-house who 24/7 just create content so that Karen can then post and then manage the conversations that are happening. So that was 7 or 8 people, 9, 10 people that are just focused on the Billie Genius marketing brand. That's it. If you go to an office like Gary Vaynerchuk, you'll have 20 to 35 people that are working just on the brand. So people don't realize how much work it is.
From my perspective, I'm looking at like, well, if I hire one person just to film me, then I can have somebody else magically make these like little snack packs, and they go on the internet, and then I become you guys. Like, tell me the reality. How's that? Like, what does your team look like, and how much work is involved?
When people think of businesses and the structure of a business, they think of like, well, in a business, there's a sales team or a marketing department. There's kind of these standards and norms. A video department will be a norm. I'm saying it right here. I've been saying it for years. A video department will be a norm. If you're in video right now, you're in fucking the best industry of kind of what's coming, because it all comes here. Just think about this. Let's say that you and I are gonna go choose like where to eat after this. And we look at like 8 different restaurants and they all have video and one doesn't. Who the fuck is going to lose? Or if one has really good video and the rest don't, who's going to win? right? Like it's just the evolution of what's happening. So in regards to video, yes, hiring someone full time to document what you're doing is fucking giant. Because sitting here and trying to like brainstorm and create like awesome content, that takes work. Like it's hard. You gotta be skillful. It's like it's fucking a challenge. Sometimes you do it and it doesn't look good. But there's so many things. There's never been this type of transparency before in business and this open window. So for example, you're in conversations and doing deals all day that people would love to know how those actually go. So like for the people who are right now like, damn, I would just love to like do like one sell for $1,000. You've done it a gazillion times. You literally can show them. They don't even know what it sounds like, what the expectations are. Do you have to deliver something different? That's the window. That's why people become hooked, is you're able to show them that. But to capture those moments, you got to be rolling almost all the time because you just don't know when they're going to happen. But some of them you do. And so, hey, I have a call with this person. Let's go ahead and film it. Hey, Mr. Customer, real quick, are you cool with us like documenting this for us? We'll give you a shout out too as a result of doing it and getting those. So that's kind of step one is the documenting. Next is having, and like Gary's does a really good job of this, is you have kind of like your two pillar contents. When I was out in New York, we actually talked about this with this team. And for example, Gary has Ask Gary Vee. It's a segment that he's done forever. It's like an hour long and he answers questions. And then he also has The Daily V. And he has these two shows that he does all of the time. From those two pillar contents, you can extract all of the micro content that you're seeing on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. So you just got to figure out, like part of your consistency can be doing an interview every week. And so now this audio from here with you and I can be extracted to be your Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube content. And that's where the new shit comes. It's just the repeatability. So format, like everybody has to have some piece of content that you're consistently doing in an easy format that you can extract video and audio footage from. That's really the fucking game with the machine. So for example, the reason why I say yes to speaking events now isn't for the money of like going to speak, because relative to the time I can put into something else, it's usually not that fucking cool. But the video footage of me being on stage, I get to go for an hour long. There's so much audio in there. There's 1 minute little clips. So I can be on stage for an hour, take out 7 different clips, spread that over and drip one out once every week. And that's 7 weeks of content for that time slot.
I just started doing video probably mostly because of you, because you keep saying video, video, video. And the only way to replicate yourself is to do video, because that's the only way you can. And just in the short amount of time that I've started actually actively doing a little video, you get more comments, more followers, but that's not the point. The vanity metrics, it's more of I'm getting instant messages, text messages. What are you up to?
Opportunities.
Yeah, crazy opportunities where it's just like from all the people you wanted to do business with that you couldn't convince, but then just a 19-second video of you talking about like a little playbook that increased business by 40% now gets that conversion. Now you get the conversation.
And here's the other thing. You guys, you don't know who's watching. Because most of the people that watch your shit will never comment. They never like you, never see it. But it's amazing how many people I run into, and they're like, fuck, I just ran into someone, they'll ask me shit like, oh yeah, how's it going with your daughter? How's the weight loss challenge going? How's this? I'm like, what? Like, oh shit, you gotta be careful what you put out there, because now, but like you just, it's crazy. Crazy.
Do you have somebody following you all the time with content, with cameras? Or?
So remember, I'm homebody, I'm pretty private. So like, I don't like that shit, so like I'll do, which is ironic, right? Because people see it and they're there. I just understand the value of it. I like, for example, I don't like eating fucking vegetables, but while I'm on this weight loss challenge, I'm eating some fucking vegetables because I want the result. So guess what? Like, if you're one of those people like, I just don't want the camera, well, fuck you. You don't want it. It's what's required these days. Also, too, when you create content, know what you're gonna want to sell on the back end, right? So I know right now we're doing a hard push for the School of Genius with our event coming up. And so Billy Fix My Ads was a great segue, because people who come to the School of Genius want better ads. So let me give them a little sample of free shit for 5 minutes that I consistently go in their inbox, and then at the end of the day say, hey, by the way, do you want to come to the School of Genius? And it's working. It's working,
So what's the one tip, or the number one tip, if somebody doesn't do video?
Do it.
That's it. Like, I mean, remember, like T saw me. Like, remember, I couldn't even spit out words. I was fumbling all over shit. I'm gonna show you a commercial after this. Get your take that we did in Arizona together.
Well, dude, and watch this. Like, you're a great example, right? Like, should I do video? I'm not good at video. Here you're on the interview doing a great job, and it's just gonna get better because it's practice. Like, it's the same thing when people tell me like, well, Billy, you're charismatic on camera. And in fairness, sure, like I've been that way like almost my entire life. But there's plenty of people who weren't, that practiced. Like a lot of people, some of these people out there, influencers will say, hey, like triple down on your strengths and things like that. And you should do that. But you also need to have a foundation of skills that fucking help you. Like if you can't get on video at all, don't retreat from it because it's a requirement to play. Go to a fucking improv class. You might be better than you think. And people say like, well, aren't we talking about entrepreneurship, Billy? Why are you talking about an improv class? Because the game's fucking changed. Are you just gonna get left behind or are you gonna change with it? So go to a fucking improv class. Put yourself in an uncomfortable position. But too many times people are sitting on a skill gold mine, but they never know because they let fear stop them.
Yeah.
And they let identity crisis stop them. You've made a decision that you are not blank. So forever you are not that. But if you make a decision that, you know what, I am a fucking video person. You may not be the best, but you'll be decent. Most of the people that you guys listen to on podcasts and shit, the reason why their podcast is popping is because they got in early when they sucked.
Right.
And now they're doing decent.
Perfect. Well,
That's
thanks,
fair.
guys. This is the Wolf of Paid Advertising, Billy Jean. Thanks for your time, my man.
Cheers, brother. Thanks for having me.
All right. Thank you.
Word.